the world can change in an instant. And I haven't experienced any big change recently, but that saying remains true, and things are becoming unstable. People are going to run up against reality, against a brick wall, against a complete and utter paradigm shift, and it's going to be dramatic. The context of what happens, I don't know, and I expect a lot of things are going to happen, and it's going to be like an earthquake of awakenings going on around the world. Different people awakening to different aspects of reality. And I can tell you, I've had that kind of experience before. A lot of people have been living in a psychosis, and I once experienced a psychosis. And during psychosis, you forget about certain things that are true, that are real. And so what happens is you run up against reality, and that snaps the psychosis. That breaks the psychosis because it informs you that this is reality. And so I'm expecting an earthquake, and that earthquake could happen anytime. There could be pre-earth, an earthquake has aftershocks, and it can have small shocks before. Essentially, several different earthquakes. So there can be space between shocks. Someone can become informed in a jail cell in Paris, and the shock of that might not hit a person in a jail cell in Tokyo for a period of days. Information has to be communicated. People have to physically transport themselves to where they can communicate information. So things are going to get real shocking. I know a lot of people get nervous about me. I know people have concerns that bad things are going to happen, that maybe this will happen to me, maybe that'll happen to me. And I trust God. I trust the power that has brought us to this point. I trust goodness. I trust love. Yeah, I work with people who follow Jesus Christ, and Christ's message was a message of compassion, and I believe that ultimately compassion will win the day, will be victorious. Even if something happens to me. So I've prepared myself, and I continue to prepare myself as well as I can. I continue to prepare anyone I've got an influence over as well as I can. And I'm doing what I can to mitigate the possibility of ugliness in the short term, so that we can get to paradise with minimal ugliness. So that's the goal, and it's a goal I'm fixated on, I'm passionate about. A lot's going to be happening. It's tricky during times of hyperinflation and times when you're entering hyperinflation to know how much cash to keep versus how much to convert to hard assets. People have operating capital needs, but people don't want to hold too much currency, knowing that at any given point, earthquakes can begin in the financial system and the economy and humans and on Earth. So things are moving fast. Every time I get on TikTok, big things happen. Every time I go someplace, things happen. I'm cool, man. I made a video called I'm Cool. You can go watch that if you want reassurance that I'm cool. You know, I'm not an asshole, man. I don't seek to hurt people. I seek to tell people truth that I believe can help them. Sometimes the truths I say to people are things they don't want to hear, but it's my belief that it's kinder to tell that truth than it is to placate their sensibilities. I've found myself getting agitated recently. It's been too long since I had an opportunity to really make a statement, man. And people are delusional as shit, man. But reality is reality, and it will inform them of where they've been mistaken, where they've been misguided, where they've been wrong. So it's coming, guys. And you want to run from it? This big idea, this big misconception that people have concerns human desire. I have a conversation I had with a gentleman named Julian Mann on my website on this very topic at humandiscourse.com. My proposition is that human desire is beyond human control, that desire originates in the body and that it cannot be escaped fundamentally, that it can only be acknowledged and accepted for what it is. Just because it exists doesn't give a person, in my estimation, the moral right to pursue that unequivocally or without regard for other people's desires. I believe that people should consider both themselves and all they encounter when making decisions. I believe that every human voice is worthy of expression. But I don't believe that desire is something that can be controlled or that can be turned on or turned off at will, except through its fulfillment. So, food is the best example. And it's the example that we're going to get in a very real way. People will become unable to feed themselves, to fulfill their desire to eat and to be nourished. And this will be real. And it won't matter how much they meditate, how many mantras they say, how spiritual they are. That hunger will consume them. It will become their focus. It will demand attention. In the Lord's Prayer, one line that always confounded me was, "Give us this day our daily bread." I thought to myself, isn't that selfish? Isn't this whole thing about compassion, about disregard of self? But that line exists. That line informs me of a couple of things. First of all, it informs me that the desire I have for bread is real. It also informs me that it is at God's mercy that I am entitled to bread. It also informs me that should I go without bread, that I will beg God for that bread. These are truths of this world, this existence, this human body, this human existence. And people will learn this when the bread runs out. My task and what I've been focused on, and the reason I won't just vote blue, is because I understand economics and I understand that people need to eat. I understand that price controls on food will create food shortages, and that that's a real problem when humans require bread to eat. You guys have a good one.